So if you know me, you know that I have way too much yarn already. But if you're a knitter, you also know that there's never enough yarn. So we're going yarn shopping today. As you can maybe hear a little bit, the weather is not too great at the moment. There was the demonstration, like right on cue. I'm currently staying at my parents' place. Well, my parents' holiday house. It's a wooden house with a wooden roof. So you're hearing every single raindrop that's falling down right now, which is great. I'm staying here for the entire week. My parents are here for the weekend. Then I'll be alone for the rest of the week. And then they're coming back for the next weekend, and then I'm going home afterwards. But today, my parents and I really wanted to visit a yarn store. Actually, I really wanted to visit a yarn store. So we landed on going to Wolplein in the Netherlands. I'm on a mission. I'm actually on a mission right now to get a mohair that matches this yarn. This is the Drops Puna Natural Mix in the colorway number 5. And I would really want to knit sweater number 14, the V-neck version with this. It's super soft. I just really wanted a nice mohair to match with this in order to knit the sweater. Then I'm also looking for a mohair for this one. This is some lovely Holland Creatief Peruvian Highland wool. If you know me, you know I love this. And this is going to become a zipper sweater. So I just need a mohair to pair with this to meet gauge. And then this will become a zipper sweater. So let's go to the yarn store and I'll explain a bit further what Wolplein actually is. Because it's a very special kind of yarn store. Well, I believe that anyway. So Wolplein is a yarn store in the Netherlands. It's also in Germany known as Wolplatz. And I know it's Yarn Plaza somewhere else. Not super sure where. So what really makes Wolplein special is that it is mostly an online store that happens to also be physical, like a physical store that you can go to. But most of their stuff is in a warehouse, which is the same place as their yarn store. So the front of the warehouse is a yarn store. And what really makes Wolplein very special is that you have only one skein per colorway, per yarn, or whatever. So it's really just a show model. So you're just looking around and not really picking up all the skeins as you would in a typical yarn store. You're just able to pick one skein. But I went there like with great courage to find the yarns that I was looking for. Just looked around. They had a lot of everything. Like the great part about this setup is that you can display everything very widely, very nicely. They also had a pretty big sale going on upstairs. There are 2 levels to this yarn store actually. And upstairs they had a whole bunch of on sale items, which was great to browse through. My mom and I had a great time there. She eventually picked out a skein from there. I did not this time. Previously I got the yarn for my camisole number 5 on the discount pile there. There's just a lovely array of books and yarn and needles even. There was just a little bit of everything there in the sale section. And it was even going for 50%, which is amazing. And they have a lot of display items. They had a lot of knitted up jumpers, knitted up blankets, crocheted water bottles. They had a whole bunch of everything. And you were actually able to then go and buy the kit to make the items. There's just a lot of show models, lots of yarn. Really a lot of yarn. I always find it super overwhelming whenever I go there. But for all the men coming along, the fathers, the husbands, the whatevers, or all the people who come with a crafty partner but don't actually craft themselves, do have their own corner with racing simulators, so they can just go play on a racing simulator while the other person is shopping. I thought that was really funny. They also had a kids corner where kids could play, but I love that they had a designated kids corner and a designated like non-crafter adult corner, which mostly men would go there. Simulators were not on when I was there, but I do know that they turn them on if you just ask to have them turned on, which I do think is very lovely. So after I had picked out all my skeins, it was time to go to the checkout. The checkout is really funny because you go up with your, in my case I had 3 skeins in there, and you just go up and like you place an order. Basically you just say, oh, I have this skein and I want this amount of skeins from this colorway and this yarn, and then they'll put in the order for you and give you a nice little receipt. So you're just waiting a little bit, and then the order arrived on a crate. It was rolled into the store because in the back there's a huge warehouse where they just house all their yarn, and then over there people are picking up all the online orders, and then the in-store orders would just come through there as well with a little bit more of a priority than the online orders. So just a little wait, and then the crate came along with all my yarn in there, and it was ready to go home again. And yeah, I just had a lovely time there. I always have a very lovely time at Wolplein, and this I just went with my parents. It was great. And now we're back home and it's time for the haul. I actually didn't get too much. I feel like it was, in the beginning I shared my mission, and I definitely kept to that for the most part, I believe. There was one other project I bought yarn for, and I bought one knitting notion. But apart from that, we're great. So let's start with the things that were on my list actually. So first of all, I shared that I wanted an extra skein, a mohair to pair with this Drops Puna, and I got something. It's not an exact match. It's way more brown. Like this is gray, like slightly brown, and this is just brown. So it will be a bit of a mix. But this does have some brown tones in there, and I think it will look great. This is Drops Kid Silk Mohair in the colorway 15, and it's just a lovely brown color. I really like that the strand itself is not white. They had some mohair that matched a bit better with the yarn, but then like the core strand was white, and that kind of sucked. It wouldn't have looked that great, but this has a brown core, and this, I believe this will just match perfectly. You can not really tell. It's starting to rain again. It's dark. We're just dealing with it. Then the second project that I was looking for was for this one. I actually took this along with me. I didn't take the Drops Puna because they had the Drops Puna in store. This they did not have in store because it's hand-dyed, like indie hand-dyed. So this I found a nice mohair for as well. It's slightly darker, but it's still a kind of rich color, I feel like. So it wouldn't take too much from this yarn. It looks a bit like the difference looks a bit bigger on camera than it does in person. It's not that big of a change, I feel like. Yeah, this is the Lana Grossa Setasuli mohair in the colorway 31, and this is 69% alpaca, so Surrey, and 31% lace. It's just super soft. This mohair definitely was more expensive than the Drops one, but I feel the difference immediately. This is way softer on me. So I really like that. Then the core again is just purple, not white. Really love that about the mohair. And I'm really curious how Surrey will knit up. This is a tiny bit bigger than this strand. That's alright. I don't feel like it will make too much of a difference. And I still think this is great for for me to gauge for that project. Then I also bought some things that were not on my shopping list, of course. Mainly because there was a sale going on. Drops always seems to have a sale going on. So I bought Drops Nepal yarn in the colorway 0100, which is, I think it's called natural. It's just not the white, but a bit like the off-white color. Fun fact, Drops Nepal in this exact color. It's actually the very first yarn I've ever bought to make my Christmas stockings that I really wanted to make. So I just bought some Drops Nepal, some needles, and I taught myself how to knit, which is just lovely to see this yarn again. Because I had a bunch left over. I way overbought on that. Like also the red Drops Nepal. But I eventually made a hat from the red yarn for my dad. And this eventually became a folklore cardigan, the leftovers from this. But I didn't have enough yarn for the folklore cardigan, so I ordered more yarn. And now I'm running out of that also, but I still have a whole panel to do. So I bought some more. This was on sale. Like the folklore cardigan is not a huge priority to knit for me right now, but I now for sure have enough yarn, which is lovely. Then lastly, I always seem to misplace these and I can never find them. So I bought some more cable needles in 2 different thicknesses. It's from Knit Pro. I saw them and I just thought, oh, it will really come in handy. Not really working on a cable project right now, but if I do, I now know that I have some brightly colored cable needles instead of the gray ones I had, which maybe also doesn't really help with me misplacing it all the time. But that is everything I bought from Wolplein this time around. I feel like I did great. I wasn't too shocked when the crate came rolling out of the warehouse, so I think I did a good job. So yeah, this was my Wolplein vlog. This is, I believe, the most different yarn store I've ever been. It's a really unique concept. If you're in the neighborhood, absolutely do check it out. It's in Zaltbommel, which is a bit out of the way for most people, but it's definitely worth a visit. So if you like this video, please leave a like down below. Leave a comment down below if you've ever been to Wolplein or if you really want to go there. Do you think you can keep to your shopping list and not be shocked when the crate comes rolling out? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see more from me, please consider subscribing. I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye!